I get calls from your teams who are out there meeting with corporate leaders, and they seem to be struggling with what this is, what you are.
I'm a mystery.
You are. What is Sage Innovations?
Good question. It very much depends on what the company needs. We're not a one-size-fits-all training company. We very much customize our services.
So you're not Sarah, Neiman Marcus, and the big retailers. You are a tailor.
Yeah.
So you tailor solutions and create opportunities, but you don't know what they are until you get in there. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, think about if a patient has an injury and they come into the emergency room, and on the way there they ask you, so what's your service? Well, I got to look at the patient first and see what's going on, and then I can take the first step.
I see. So that explains why you don't have employees. You only have affiliates. Very smart. Then that way you can bring in just the right specialists for each situation.
That's right.
Okay, but I think the rest of it's in the name, innovations, right? And the service you're basically offering is a new way to think about new services, products, business models, etc.
Yeah, and innovating innovation as well.
Okay, that's perfectly clear. So you're innovating the whole process of innovation.
That's right.
I see. Okay. Brilliant. And you do that by educating executives. So I know that the first courses that they take, the first projects that they conduct with you, they're not so much about getting something really big done or solving a major problem. It's about getting them to communicate with innovative patterns. So it's patterns of communication. I picture it like a clock. So from 12 to 1, that's your engineers. From 1 to 2, that's your managers. From 2 to 3, that's your marketing teams. If you go on around there, you get your investors, your customers, your suppliers, all the different people whose intelligence goes into when a company has to adapt to a new business reality, which is now sometimes every couple of months or so. They have a way to meet in the middle and speak human instead of geek speak, engineering gobbledygook, scientific jargon, legalese. Suddenly everybody's at the core speaking with very fresh patterns of feedback that makes everybody able to understand each other.
Yeah, everybody in a company has a different background, whether that's from their education, but also their upbringing, the country. But what we all have in common, the common ground, is that we're humans.
So you also are dealing with a lot of different cultures. You're dealing with different genders.
Different ages, generations.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah, that one.
I've encountered that.
Languages.
As a baby boomer, and you're a millennial. And
I am.
A lot of your new engineers are Gen Z. I must confess, I have no idea what they're talking about.
Every generation does have their own language.
They do. And different meanings even for the same words, and hold different sets of priorities.
I have to laugh all the time when we reference a movie and the movie is a little older already, and the Gen Z people go like, what film is that? I'm like, you don't know that film. Yeah.
In his book, Winning with Integrity, Lee Steinberg talks about bringing a quarterback to a new team, and they pass a sign, and it has on it the Beatles, and he says, "Oh, the Beatles," and the guy goes, "What's that?" So there are some communication hurdles. Until you handle communication, you can't really handle innovation. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
Good.
Now, the other advantage is that your business model keeps evolving and quickly. So you have agents or associates or affiliates, I suppose. They're all independent. Each one owns her own business.
Affiliates is a good way of saying it.
Okay. Yeah, see, we're getting closer already to speaking the same language. And that saves you don't have to have an office in every city. You don't have to have a big building down on Wall Street. You're able to then come to these companies with extraordinary, highly developed patterns of communication and innovation, but you can come in with extremely low cost offerings because you don't have all that staff. I think last I heard, Accenture has 700,000 consultants. Now, by the time you add up also the secretaries and the janitors and the office space and the lawyers and the, that's a lot of expense. So anytime you hire a McKinsey or a Boston or Deloitte and Touche, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I like the way it sounds.
It does have a certain ring to it.
It reminds me of the tush push, that now the Philadelphia Eagles use it to win the Super Bowl. Now the NFL wants to ban it,
I know.
So their fees are incredibly high, and they can't adapt a really completely new communication technology in just a few weeks, and let alone in some cases on the fly within a few days. But your people can do that. You know what I found out long ago? You hire a consultant, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But back when I was in business, you can hire a Nobel laureate or the head of the American Psychological Association for very little. These guys work as professors. They're not highly paid. And you can get the greatest minds globally and fly them in, put them up, and they think it's Christmas. They get more money based on a learning conference than maybe they make in the whole year at the university where they're paid. So for you, it's a very low cost to bring in top people, and you don't have to fix your numbers. Well, I have this number of employees, because you actually, I think, have none. And therefore, for example, one of your people now is doing a healthcare for all, looking at big name people to come in as the speakers, well-known, very famous people who are making advances. Mark Cuban's changing the world with his low-cost services. You say basically, yeah, come on down, you get a piece of the gate. And if you're little known, you get a point. If you're well known, like Lee Steinberg is now working on head injuries for football players, right?
Very important work.
Yeah. And he's well known, has great attraction power. We'll bring in athletes from the NFL into the audience. So he's a 2-pointer. And then maybe Mark is 3, so now when the gate comes in, basically you take out your rather small expenses, and they split the gate based on their appeal rating, I guess. Brilliant business model. Brilliant. So, okay, it gives me an idea. Okay, now, when you go into a company, what actually happens there? wave a magic wand or?
I turn into Harry Potter. It's quite the spectacle.
I think you're more like Hermione, but okay.
All right, I'll take that. Yeah, again, it just so much depends on the company. It's not really a question that I can answer until I talk to the people and then see what they need.
So there's a little sampler workshop that they do. You put an array of tools in front of them, and that way, for a really, really unbelievably low fee, they get a sampler platter. And
yeah, usually we start out with a weekend with about 20 people in the company.
Okay. And
for them to try it out.
The fee for that?
That's usually 60,000.
No, wait, these guys are investing $6 billion in...
Yeah. It's chump change.
I know you're working with a big automotive company, and they put multiple billions into software, which now sits on a shelf in the cloud. And so I would say 60,000 is not a really outrageous investment. And I've actually seen some people come out of that particular training session, take those tools back and make a tremendous difference in their company. Okay, so sometimes that's all they need, just a little bit or a little bite. And then if you go in for a year of communication, a year of innovation, a year of transformation, they're still looking at very, very small fees compared to anybody else in the industry. And yet you're drawing on not college kids who've never done anything, but scientists, business leaders, retired guys who are bringing a world of experience into your interventions. Not bad. It's a good business model. I see the wisdom in it.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for clarifying some of that. I think if people have questions, where can they reach you? Oh, they can't.
Me personally?
Okay.
That's a little hard to get through. Usually that goes through one of the agents that handles that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And they create the relationships, build the friendships, earn the trust, and then if they want to move up the scale into higher levels of training, you step in with your high-level players. A good model. Well, thank you for your time. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.